Traditionally, it has always been said women can't work together and women are enemies of each other and women's progress and all that. We stand here today as Minnacle Academy in partnership with Botswana Women in Construction Organization in planning and collaborating for the 2020 conference. As a graduate in real estate, there are many career paths and options.
I am currently working as a SHE officer in a multi-billion construction project. My day-to-day duties is to ensure that the environment is safe for people to work within it, to make sure that their safety and their health is well protected. This is achieved by conducting some risk identification around site, which with the aim to find or to bring up or to come up with some control measures to rectify those situations.
I was fortunate enough that in my formative years I started with property development and project management. I was so challenged in this particular sector in that when I went into project meetings, I would find myself as the only woman. The entire team comprising of men. The architect is a man, quantity surveyors are men, the engineers are men, the contractor being a man. And one thing that kept bothering me or challenging me was I went to school with women. There are lots of women who are ahead of me in school and behind me. Where are these women? And hence the need for the Women in the Built Environment Conference. This now, to me, I said to myself, we need to meet as women. We need a convention where we can meet as women to exchange ideas, to share, to meet, to map our way forward, and to challenge the status quo. The status quo, whether it's societal, the government, policies that are in place, and ensure that as we meet, we push this glass ceiling, we're pushing every barrier, and we're creating career pathways for our daughters, for our sisters, for our grandchildren, so that they will not face the challenges that we currently face as women in this particular sector. One of the key strengths we had as an organization was the skill of project management, wherein we knew that stakeholder management was key to the success of any and every project. We therefore took upon ourselves to engage every single stakeholder involved with the woman in the built environment. Having done that, it was quite fulfilling in that on the day of the conference, we saw women from all sectors across the country come to this first convention. What was pleasing was how everybody opened doors for us. We got sponsorships from training institutions, we got sponsorships from private sector practitioners, even entities that are led by men within the built environment. They were willing to write checks to say we are willing to support women because we see what happens to these women or to our women colleagues every single day. And we want our women colleagues to end up playing in an equal playing field as we are. It's quite pleasing that the men have been with us in this journey. And I'm talking about, for example, if you look at our regulatory authorities, our registrars, they are men. But it was quite pleasing. When you went into the first conference, you'd see the ERB registrar sitting there, Architectural Registration Council registrar sitting there. And they're actually keen on going on board or coming on board this year again. In the next 10 years or 20 years, we want to look back and say, as a result of the coming together of women annually at the Women in the Built Environment Conference, policies have been formulated. There's a deliberate affirmative action plan by government and other stakeholders to see women progress up the ladder, to make provisions for women, whether, when women tender, when there's a construction job out there, a provision to say there's a 5% reserved for women. We want that to come out very clearly in the same manner that it is coming out right now for youth, for people living with disability. Women are a marginalized constituent in this particular sector.
Clients, they have it in their mind that this is an industry for me. And they don't have much trust that women can do it, and you will feel it when you are working with them or when we are working on that project. You will feel it. I've had a project which I felt it more than in any other project because the client in that project literally didn't have any trust in what I did, to an extent that when I came with, when I came with my boss to a meeting, he'll be calm, he'll be understanding, but what he wouldn't realize is that my boss just came, but I did the work, so he will accept the work on that day. On any other day when it's just me, he will be questioning everything and not really accepting what was put in front of him.
A lot of them now end up in the more, when it comes to progression or career path, they end up in the more administrative roles versus the side roles. Primarily, some not out of their choosing, but out of the disadvantages that exist in the other pathway. We want to see that, taken away. We want to see women having as equal opportunities as men do. Other things also come to play. Right now, as I mentioned also earlier, issues of discrimination based on gender. This is very apparent. You get into a site meeting, it doesn't matter whether you are the principal officer or one of the senior high-ranking officers in the team of consultants. The first impression, people are actually surprised when you open your mouth and you mention something technical. Oh wow, she knows this. Wow, she's intelligent. She actually knows what a beam is. Hello, what is so difficult about that? We have the same brains that men have, we have the same abilities that our peers have, and we should have the same opportunities, same playing field, same opportunities as I mentioned, and we shouldn't be discriminated against because of gender.
That women are here, they understand this industry, they can become a part of this industry, whether or not a policy favors them, they should still be in this industry and conquer it. I would like to see us, empowering women, making women understand this industry and making them believe in themselves that they can become a part of this industry.
I'd like to challenge employers, I'd like to challenge the business community to look at this marginalized sector and put in place measures to offer opportunities for funding, opportunities for partnerships, opportunities for collaboration to women in order for us to see and merge and bridge the gap between the male sector and the female sector within the built environment. And to the woman in the built environment, to the aspiring woman in the built environment, to the student in the built environment. We've got so many hurdles before us, some being cultural. Just where we come from as women in this country, our cultural barriers and all that, and a lot of things that are enshrined in us. And we have to, now, my word of encouragement is that keep going, keep your eye on the ball. The same man who's able to achieve what he is achieving, you can also as a woman. You just need to know that they are also facing their own challenges. We've got these challenges. You need to focus, keep your eye on the ball. It is possible.